So if I was to give you advice, intro to SD 100, we're going to talk about experience with an employer. So my first piece of advice would be, in going into this process, know that you're interviewing them to know if you would like to work with them. With this being said, because I know you're looking for some kind of fulfillment out of this opportunity, so you want to make sure that you have your list of things that you're looking for, whether that's work-life balance, pay that makes sense, and then one that I would just say as mandatory as for a baby Esti is experience and continue education. Continue education, whether they host classes for you or whether they pay to send you to classes. These are all questions you need to ask yourself in order to find an employer. The other thing I would say you need to be doing is researching the company. You want to go as far as to know what services they offer and what product lines they carry. I would say the biggest thing with knowing like the services that they offer would be knowing who those services are for, the benefits of the service, basically just being able to walk through the consultation. Because to be honest, if you can walk through the consultation, you kind of already got it, because doing the actual service is just going to become repetition. So if you can speak to the service, you in there. So I would say that. And then for product line, it's great to be familiar with the exact product, but more than that, you want to make sure that you're building your ingredient library. So if the product line that the employer is using is just the first one that you decide to start with, I want you to do a deeper dive into what are the ingredients that are giving that result. Because if you know ingredients, you can work new product lines. And I think even with researching the company, actually visiting the place, walking in, walking up to their front counter, seeing how the front desk person handles their self. I feel like going and having a service done can check off a couple of boxes as far as like atmosphere. You can look around and check the cleanliness of the place. Book consultations at similar establishments so that way you can get comfortable from a client perspective. And that'll give you some insights on how you would like to conduct your consultations and handle your client experience as well. That way you can kind of get real world examples, kind of listen for the verbiage and language that they're using in office. And then from there, you can fine tune how you present yourself at your interview. Even if it's calling somewhere that offer the same service and listening to how they describe it or asking questions about what the consultation process would entail. But if you can speak to why they need it, speak to what ingredients and what technology you using to solve their problem or solve their clients' problems, you're in there. Because being able to speak well to what you're doing, for one, builds rapport. For two, you'll be able to sell a product without even ever servicing someone. And then three, the ultimate, it would land you being able to service the. I feel like in interviews, it can be brought up the fact that you don't have the experience because you did just get out of school. With that, you do want to kind of piggyback off of the work that you were doing in school. So, using that as like your first example of an experience. And then also just not being afraid to put out there that, yeah, I don't have the experience, but that's not a bad thing because then I can be taught the insert company name way, and expectations and responsibilities are set clear, and you only know how to do it the blank brand way. So I feel like when you're in the interview, you should ask questions, get insights into the culture, ask how problems are solved, and handle. What do they do as far as team building? How are new procedures implemented? How do they decide on the new technology, services, product lines that they bring into office? These are all good things to know. How would they support new talent coming in?